Welcome to this lesson on homozygous. In genetics, the term homozygous refers to having two identical alleles for a specific gene. These identical alleles can be either both dominant or both recessive. Understanding homozygous conditions is fundamental to grasping how traits are inherited from parents to offspring. Let's break down what homozygous means. The term homozygous describes an organism that has two identical alleles for a particular gene. For example, if we represent alleles with the letter A homozygous genotype would be either A or lowercase a. Both alleles are the same, making the organism homozygous for that trait. There are two types of homozygous conditions. First, homozygous dominant, represented as A, means an organism has two dominant alleles for a gene. Second, homozygous recessive, represented as lowercase a, means an organism has two recessive alleles for a gene. These two types determine which version of a trait will be expressed in the organism. Let's look at homozygous dominant examples. When an organism has the genotype A, it expresses the dominant trait. For instance, A could result in brown eyes being expressed as the phenotype. Similarly, in plants, A might lead to the tall plant phenotype being expressed. The dominant allele determines the observable characteristic. Now let's examine homozygous recessive examples. When an organism has the genotype lowercase a, it expresses the recessive trait. For example, lowercase a could result in blue eyes being expressed as the phenotype. In plants, lowercase a might lead to the short plant phenotype being expressed. The recessive trait only appears when both alleles are recessive. It's important to distinguish between homozygous and heterozygous. Homozygous, represented as A, means having identical alleles for a gene. In contrast, heterozygous, represented as A, means having different alleles for a gene. In heterozygous individuals, one allele is dominant and the other is recessive, and typically the dominant trait is expressed. Let's review key points about homozygous conditions. First, offspring receive one allele from each parent, which determines whether they are homozygous or heterozygous. Second, homozygous organisms are true breeding for that trait, meaning they consistently pass the same allele to their offspring. Third, both chromosomes in a homozygous organism carry the same genetic information for that particular gene. To summarize, homozygous means having two identical alleles for a gene. An organism can be either homozygous dominant, represented as A, or homozygous recessive, represented as lowercase a. Understanding homozygous conditions helps us predict inheritance patterns and trait expression in offspring. This concept is foundational to the study of genetics and heredity.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.